men are expected to live up to these traditional roles all the time? That men are expected to make the first advance, pay for dinner, pick you up, pay for drinks. We are expected to lift heavy objects. We are expected to do the dangerous work. We're expected to kill the insects or any other wild animals or beings that are anywhere near the house. We're expected to take the garbage out. We are expected to take care of all bill paying, not just doing the paying of the bills, but also the bringing home the vast majority of the money to pay the bills. And yet, women, especially American women, are increasingly refusing to do traditional female tasks. Making dinner, cleaning up, doing the laundry, folding our socks. Increasingly, women are saying they're too tired. They're too tired to have sex. They're too tired to make dinner. They have a headache. The nastier ones say you've got two hands, do it yourself, or you've got a right hand, do it yourself. And I think a lot of men tolerate this inequity without ever thinking about it. How many traditional male roles do you take at home without having a response in kind? I'll tell you what, if I'm paying the majority of the bills, if I'm lifting heavy objects, if I'm taking the garbage out, if I bring home most of the money, the person I'm with is going to make my dinner and my lunch and my breakfast. The person I'm with is going to do my laundry, fold my towels, be my social director, and she's going to give me sex whenever I need it. And any woman who would not be willing to do that would not be with me. I learned this the hard way. I all the time get these calls from people saying, don't you want to be with a woman who's challenging, challenges you, challenges your beliefs, is really, really, really intelligent and can challenge you? No. I do that at work. I do it for a living. I argue with people on the phone who think they're smarter than I am all day long. I don't want to come home and do that at home. Now, if I were with a woman who paid her own bills, brought in as much money as I did, took out the garbage when the garbage bag was full, instead of waiting until I came home, even if it meant the garbage bag will be overflowing, or you start... Ever been with a woman who is so insistent on you taking out the garbage that rather than throwing out the garbage, she will start another bag of garbage while she waits for you to come home and take out the garbage? You know what I'm talking about. If I were with a woman who took out the garbage when the garbage bag was full, who could put the Arrowhead bottle on the Arrowhead cooler when the water was out, you put new drinking water on the 5-gallon bottle up there on the cooler. If I were with a woman who was willing to take on heavy tasks, it could be carrying luggage or loading it into the back of the car when we go away. Well, you know what? Then maybe I'd be willing to do some other things myself. Maybe I'd be willing to cook. Maybe I'd be willing to fold towels. But the way it works now is men are expected to live up to every traditional male role, but women are trying to escape traditional female roles at the same time. They want all of the benefits and none of the responsibilities. So did what I say in that call you just heard ring any bells for you?
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-866.
I think you're a sick bastard.
Yes, I am, dear. But that's why they give me the big bucks.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
Oh, yeah, the Tom Leykis Show. At 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Annette on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
You are describing me to a T.
Really?
Absolutely.
How so?
When I met my husband, I had been widowed. I had 2 kids, and I had always been the one who had done everything. He was older, not by much. Maybe I think Steve is 9 years older than I am. And we actually sat down and wrote out a contract about what we expected from each other, including things like money, chores, sex, vacations, trips. We keep our money completely separate. I actually think I make more money than him. But that is not the point. We're together because we're together. Right. There's things we want to do and have from each other.
Mm-hmm.
I just so agree with the fact that most of my contemporaries have left behind what it's all about to be a man and a woman in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
They're focusing way too much on money and career.
That's true, and what ends up happening is that there's really nothing more to it than it's a business arrangement, essentially.
Absolutely. Just it's got perks that you've got vacations and you've got sex.
Right.
I like to have what I like to have. I don't have to say to him, I want to go buy something. You have to give me some money. I don't need to do that. I write myself a check. I pay for the kids' education because I came into the relationships with the kids. He is the most phenomenal father. He is there for them in every aspect, but I pay for them. Unless there's certain things that he wants to do with the kids, then he steps up to the plate and pays for it. But they were mine when I came into the relationship. He shouldn't become financially responsible for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of my older women that I work with. I'm in my late 30s now. A lot of the folks I work with are in their 50s. And the gals all agree with me. Some of my contemporaries don't, but a lot of them are leaning towards it because they see how independent I am, how flexible I am, but they're also really quite jealous of the relationship I have with my husband.
Yeah. Well, they're jealous of it, but they're not willing to do the things you have to do.
Absolutely.
In order to have a relationship. It's amazing how many women want us to lift heavy objects. And that one about the water bottle. If you live in Southern California, everybody has water delivered. If you drink it out of the tap,
that's what's cracking me up.
Yeah,
is that
you drink it out of the tap, you're insane.
I do. That's what's cracking me up about listening to this, is that I actually left San Francisco, came down to Orange County, gave up my high heels, my nylons, and my suit. I work from a home office. I'm making more money now, but I did that so that I could be there more as a wife and as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
I take out the garbage. He comes home, dinner's on the table. I do the homework. And the thing about it is I don't mind it. Because what I get out of it is this wonderful man who comes in at the door at the end of the day, and we can sit down and have a good evening and a glass of wine together.
Well, I must say, an awful lot of women these days are just bitches who want to show how equal they are, and how intelligent they are, and how they're not going to do anything that normally that their mothers or grandmothers had to do. They're not going to do those things. And
emasculate men in the meantime.
Yeah.
And that's what's, I think, really bothers me the most is I'm watching one gal go through a divorce right now, and this is the issue. Her husband cut her off from the checking account because she was wasting money. I agreed with him. She no longer likes me.
Let me tell you
something.
something.
Wasting money.
One of my relationships, and I'm not going to say which one, with someone who lived in my house, was with someone who did not work at a job.
Mm-hmm.
And I would come home from work, and there would be no dinner. And I would say, why don't you make dinner?
Mm-hmm.
And she would say, I was hungry about an hour ago, so I ate.
Great.
She also would tell me that there might be something left over if I wanted to eat that.
Did she have kids?
No, I have had no kids over the years, and I haven't lived with anyone with kids in a very long time. But here's what happened. This is like an amazing story, okay? After a while, I started going out with the boys. You know, we'd have a pizza. We'd have a pitcher of beer. We'd stay out till 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. on weeknights. And one time I'm out with the boys and we're eating a wonderful Italian meal at this great Italian restaurant, and my cell phone rings, and the question comes over the phone. It's, why do you go out night after night like this? And I said, well, you know what? If you would make dinner, I'd come home and eat it.
Yeah.
But the boys are happy to eat dinner with me, so I eat dinner with them.
Yeah.
So I said, if you'll make dinner every night, I'll come home. She said, every night? You make me feel like a slave.
See, and I think this is the biggest issue in these relationships nowadays. People wonder why divorce is the way it is. It is because there is no equity in terms of the relationship between the man and the woman in the whole spectrum between work, kids, house, and home. You have to break it up. You have to be able to be responsible for what you bring into the relationship, because you're only going to get what you give.
Well, it's just amazing how somebody could not have a job, have no responsibilities during the day, and then when you say, could you make me dinner when I come home? Oh, what, am I, a slave?
Mm-hmm. That's where we're going in the society.
Yeah.
And you know what?
So that particular slave was freed.
I bet.
I issued the Emancipation Proclamation.
There you go. That's all you could do.
Don't worry about it. You'll never have to make dinner for me again. Never, never, never.
That's it. Anyways, when I heard what you were talking about, I had to call in because I just thought, you know what you're saying is right. And if people don't agree with that, then they need to take a hard look in the mirror, because they're going to end up alone. And that's not a good way to go. You just got to find the right gal.
Thank you, Annette.
See you later.
Appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Sonny on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Sonny.
I am so glad to hear you talking about this topic. I make more money than my husband, but it was very clear before we went into our marriage what roles I wanted and what roles I didn't want. And I didn't want children. I found a man that had already had a vasectomy. That wasn't an issue. He likes to cook, which I don't like to cook, so I made sure that was clearly taken care of before I got married. And I don't particularly like clean house, but I pay for a housekeeper.
Yeah.
And, the house is clean. I do his laundry. I take care of all this stuff, and I work a full-time job. And I don't understand women who want a puss of a husband. I just don't understand that.
Yeah.
I want a manly man, and to keep a man in a manly role, you have to accommodate him. And
well, not only that, though, men need to step up to the plate and say, look, I'm lifting the heavy objects, you're making dinner. That's it.
Completely true.
And if she doesn't like it, then it's time to move on.
When I first got married, my husband I did my own laundry. I came from I've been on my own for quite a while, and did my own laundry, and he came home one day and said,
why aren't you doing my laundry? Yeah, I'm sure he did.
The Tom Leykis Show. This is the Tom Leykis Show.
From Los Angeles at 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. It's Roxanne on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Roxanne.
I love you.
Do you really?
But I really also hate you.
Why?
Everything you say is true.
Really?
Here's the rules that I think people should agree to before they enter a relationship, a long-term relationship, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
4 BJs a week.
Very good.
And they should be spontaneous.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Well, if you have to have an exact number of 4, it might not be so spontaneous.
Yeah, but like...
If you got to the end of the week and you'd only done 2, it'd be like, oh, my God, I got to catch up.
Hey, you got to do it, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Women have to start working out more.
Well, I agree with you on that.
So many fat women, and like you say, they cut their hair, they start looking like men.
Mm-hmm.
Drag queens look better than some women nowadays, okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, third rule. We need to clean the house. Most women aren't educated, so we need to stick to the house, clean it, and make dinner for our man.
That's exactly right. Where are the women like you?
I'm Hispanic. I was taught to be this way.
Mm-hmm.
We're bred like this. So, lingerie. Always go to bed with lingerie on.
Oh.
And stop bitching.
Stop bitching. Stop being a man already and start being a woman.
Yes. What is our problem? You know?
Exactly.
All I ask from a man is that he has to go out to work if the woman is not educated and doesn't. I think that'll make everything better.
Look at you. And you're a happy girl.
I'm happy, but see, I'm also single. And I know all this because I have worked in gentleman bars for 7 years now.
Really?
So I've met a gazillion men that tell me the same thing over and over and over.
Wow.
So I'm just speaking from experience.
I imagine the men all tell you what they're thinking that they can't say at home. Isn't that right?
I'm more like a shrink.
You are.
Yeah.
So you know what all the women aren't giving these guys that they need.
Yeah, they go to me, they tell me all their problems and sob away all their sorrows, and then I give them a little dance and they go home happy. But I hear it all. And the biggest complaint is that the women bitch too much and don't do anything at home for them.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to take care of this. How about guys get on strike or something?
I'd just dump that bitch when she says, you got two hands, do it yourself.
Yes.
That's what I've done.
Tom, are you still with that Argentinian?
Why are you asking, dear?
Because I haven't heard you speak about her for a while.
Why, yes, of course. There just haven't been any good stories to tell.
Too bad.
Oh, look at that. Roxanne, thank you very much for the call. I appreciate it. Too bad. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Let's say hello to Jenny on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. First time, long time.
Thank you.
I'm calling from Seattle, Washington.
Yeah.
And I have to totally agree with you. I'm 22 years old, and most women in my generation call themselves feminists, and they scream equality, but they don't understand that they have to have equality on all levels in order to have that happen. Otherwise, we'll always make 70 cents to the man's dollar. We have to be, if they expect to be equal at home, they have to lift up heavy things, too. I don't make the kind of money my boyfriend makes, so I wake up at 4:30 with him every morning and make him breakfast and lunch. And when we get home, I make him dinner. I keep the house clean.
Look at that. Now, by the way, the reason women make 70 cents for every dollar men make is because men do more dangerous jobs.
True.
Men do not take leaves of absence to have children. Do not stop down to part-time or flex time or anything like that.
Very true. And women don't seem to understand that employers think about that. And women, especially, I think, in my generation.
I think women that are just as serious about showing up to work every single day for, 40 years, working day in and day out, will get paid the same time as the same way a man does. Because that's how men are, Men have no choice. We don't get sabbaticals or leaves of absence, except in rare instances. We have to go to work every goddamn day until we're dead.
And society expects that of you.
Well, women expect that of us.
And for some reason, we don't expect the same thing as of ourselves.
Well, no, you expect a man to make up the difference. And so if a man's going to make up the difference, guess what? When I come home, there's food on my plate.
Uh-huh. And that's the way our household works. He makes more money than I do. That's just a fact of our lives. And I make up the slack at home.
Sounds good to me. Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Marilyn on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Marilyn.
Oh, my marriage is breaking up for exactly what you're talking about.
Really?
I was listening to you, and I couldn't believe it. It all just hit me.
It's an epidemic. It's happening all over the place. Now, tell me your version.
Well, I've been married for 13 years. We have 3 kids. In the beginning, it wasn't like that, but I don't know how I fell into that trap, but it became all this, okay, I'm equal, and, I work full time with the kids, I take care of the kids, But I'm the one that puts the trash there and waits till he gets home to take it out. He does all the lifting. You know, he takes care of all the bills. And I don't know how I got into that. My marriage is
I think an awful lot of women who grew up in the years that you grew up heard all this feminist claptrap and bought right into it.
I think so. But, and it's too late, I think, for me, and I'm trying now to change things, but it's just too late.
What has your husband told you?
Well, he's got another woman.
Oh, he has?
Yeah.
And how did you find that out?
Oh, I just sensed it and confronted him, and he admitted it, so now he's deciding what he's going to do. But
did he tell you why?
Because we just don't connect anymore,
right.
And you know, I have a feeling it's because I just could not give him all these things that I should have been giving him all these years.
These are the things you have to give a man, or ultimately he starts looking elsewhere. And it's not just sex.
Exactly. And I was the one that said, oh, I'm too tired. If I don't want to have sex, you know, tough. And now I'm realizing that's just so ridiculous.
Well, you know, an awful lot of women, I'm amazed to hear you say this, an awful lot of women do whatever they can to get us to sign that contract.
Yeah.
You know, and then once they get our signature on the contract, they believe they have a monopoly on sex. And then they say, well, you're not going to go anywhere else because you're married to me, and I don't feel like it. And they start becoming, in many cases, belligerent about it.
Exactly. And it happened gradually. I don't even know how it happened because it wasn't that way in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, for those women out there who are listening, you really have to give your man what he needs and think about this, because I know it's over.
Now, what was it about what I said that made you connect? I mean, it sounds to me like you weren't even completely clear on all of this.
You know, I wasn't really clear on it. I didn't really know what it was. And then when you said this, I just saw myself. And I thought, oh, my God, that's me. You know, I don't give him what he needs. I'm not this traditional wife, mother person. You know, I don't have to work.